The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere, and it's time for the Morning Espresso. Big thank you to our presenting partner of the Morning Espresso, Oglethorpe University. If you're looking for a college experience that combines academic excellence, real-world opportunity, and a campus community that believes in the power of sport, Oglethorpe should be on your list. You can learn more about admissions, athletics, campus life, all the different programs at oglethorpe.edu. Oglethorpe.edu. Big thank you to Oglethorpe University for supporting the work we do every day here at SDH. Let's get started with AFCON. It's semifinal day, and these are classic matches. It's hard to imagine a better lineup that you could have had for the semifinals. In Rabat, the host nation Morocco will face Nigeria at 3 o'clock Eastern time. In Tangiers, Egypt and Senegal will renew one of the great rivalries in international football. That kicks at noon Eastern time. You've got 4 giants, 4 former champions, 4 storylines, a whole lot more than 4, and 2 spots in the final on the line. Let's start with Nigeria and Morocco. Tactically, this one's really interesting. Nigeria head coach Eric Schell, he's been kind of unusually open about the approach he's considering. He's admitted that fatigue in his team could lead him to sit deeper and play more on the counter. It's not what you normally hear going into a semifinal, but I think it shows you how much respect he has for the Moroccan side, and maybe mind games, very possible as well. Morocco haven't conceded from open play in the tournament. They're comfortable dominating possession. You could even say maybe they've been a little wasteful in the attack. Schell believes that the best way to challenge them is being patient, stay compact, frustrate them in the first half, and then try to hit when the spaces open up later. Nigeria will be missing their captain due to suspension, Wilfred Ndidi. They're going to have to rely heavily on Alex Iwobi in midfield. He's been excellent in this tournament. They're going to have to rely on Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. Hopefully those two are on the same page. There's been some issues with that during this tournament. On the other side, Walid Regragui, he has spent the week defending not just his team, but the tournament and his country. He shut down claims that referees have favored Morocco. That's not true, and I would agree that kind of talk is damaging to African football. His bigger point is that this African Cup of Nations represents progress. Better stadiums, better pitches, better conditions, the best African players of a generation, all sharing the same stage. You could say this is the best AFCON of all time. It's going to be in that conversation. The other semifinal, Egypt is playing Senegal. A little bit of history meeting urgency here. Egypt have won AFCON 7 times, but it's been a long time since they lifted the trophy. Mohamed Salah has not lifted the trophy in his career. He's been a runner-up twice. Hassam Hassan, the manager for Egypt, he calls this tournament ferocious, and he's right. It's the depth of the talent across the continent now. Nothing comes easy anymore. Salah is at 33 years old. He knows his opportunities with Egypt are not endless. This could be his last AFCON. You never know. I think he'll probably be around for the next one, and we'll have to see. Playing Senegal, it always stirs up the memories of his rivalry / teammate side with Sadio Mane, and it stirs up the memories of the international heartbreak from recent finals for Egypt. It's not just about reaching another final for the Egyptians. It is about reclaiming a place at the very top of African football, and it's about winning it for Mo Salah. For me, when it comes down to predictions, I lean towards Morocco and Egypt advancing. I think Morocco against a full-strength Nigeria side, maybe Nigeria's attack could give Morocco more problems. I do think they're going to have to be a little more defensive with Ndidi out. I think Morocco will eventually break them down, but Morocco has to be really careful about not allowing space in behind because Lookman and Osimhen can destroy you. On the other side, I think Egypt has been better in the tournament than Senegal. I think Egypt is going to go into that final if it's Egypt and Morocco. I think Egypt will go in as a decided underdog, but I think they've been better in the tournament than Senegal. Mo Salah has stepped up. I've been critical of him coming into the tournament. There was criticisms of how he handled things at Liverpool before he left for the tournament. I think those are all valid. He's delivered in this tournament, though, and you have to give him that respect. I think he'll get his side through. I think Morocco will get through, and I think we have a final for the ages on the weekend. Let's go to Madrid. We have Real Madrid updates because there's always updates out of Spain. Álvaro Arbeloa is the new manager at Real Madrid. We talked about it yesterday. The club will say that it was a mutual agreement. Xabi Alonso kind of made it clear that it didn't feel very mutual at all. It's the reality of being at the Santiago Bernabeu, and we'll talk more about the reality of the managerial situations worldwide later this week. But the reports that suggest Xabi Alonso struggled to win over some of the big personalities in the squad. We know about the issues with Vinicius Jr. Jude Bellingham, a lot in the Spanish media have blamed him for this, and he pushed back on that. Federico Valverde, Kylian Mbappe. I think what we saw after losing the Supercopa final, Alonso tried to gather the players to form a guard of honor, and Mbappe waved it off. The team followed Mbappe. That was seen, that was noticed, and that was probably the final straw. So Arbeloa steps up. He comes from Real Madrid Castilla, deep roots in the club, reputation for leadership. He's talked about believing in gegenpressing and all of these things. He's not going to have an opportunity to do any of that, and Xabi Alonso already showed you that these players do not want to follow that sort of structure. The players are going to guide this. If Arbeloa is going to get a longer-term contract, and this isn't being portrayed as an interim situation either, he's just the manager. If he's going to get a longer contract, he's going to have to do it by winning these players over, not from tactical ideas. He's not going to have an opportunity to do that. The players are going to decide the way that they want to play, for better or worse. That's just the way that this group is at Real Madrid. Not every group in Real Madrid's history has been this way. This one currently, for the manager to have any success, the manager is going to have to give in to the players. I think Xabi Alonso honestly tried to as time went on. I don't think he was ever fully going to do that. Arbeloa comes in. He has to do that if he wants the job long term. His message is pretty simple. I mean, he wants to restore the joy, restore the pride, restore the ambition. He's been shaped by Jose Mourinho as well as his ideas on gegenpressing. How much of that we actually see, I don't know. I think more than anything, you're going to see somebody who tries to be a little closer to Carlo Ancelotti and let the players decide what happens on the field. We'll see how Álvaro Arbeloa handles this. They're 4 points back from Barcelona in La Liga. They've got pressure in the Champions League. And they need not just stability, but they need some positive results to build momentum. We'll see if Álvaro Arbeloa can do that at Real Madrid. Number 3 on the headlines, let's go to Seattle. Laura Harvey has locked in a new deal with the Seattle Reign through 2028. Extends the NWSL's winningest and longest tenured coach, and it sends a clear message about what Seattle's valuing right now, stability. 10 seasons in charge, 3 NWSL shields, 3 trips to the championship game, but still looking for that big title. That's the key here. That's what's missing. That's the elusive final piece for Laura Harvey. That's what keeps her pushing forward. Her evolution has been fascinating. She said last season reignited something in her, feeling energy like when she started with the league. It's really hard to stay at the top of your profession in one place for 10 years in the coaching game. She's doing this, and it's so impressive to see. I think for Seattle, this isn't just about like choosing the easiest option either. It is about ambition, and to see the energy in Laura Harvey right now, it feels like she just started. And the club is also giving a legend at the club an opportunity to finish what she started. I really like this re-signing, this new deal, and I'm excited to see what Laura Harvey can do in Seattle in the upcoming seasons. Let's stay on the domestic side. San Diego Wave in the NWSL. They made one of the biggest moves of the offseason, acquiring Brazilian international Ludmila from Chicago. It's a deal that could reach $1 million. Second highest intra-league transfer fee in the history of the program. Tells you everything about how the Wave see her impact this season in San Diego. In Houston, the Dash added some championship pedigree by signing Linda Olmark from the University of North Carolina. She was a key figure in their 2024 NCAA title run. Boston, they have acquired Canadian international Nichelle Prince from Kansas City, adding some experience, adding some explosiveness to the attack. Denver Summit, they've made a bunch of big signings. They did outline some stuff off the field yesterday. 3-venue plan for their inaugural season. They're going to start at the big venue, the home of the Broncos, in Power Field. For their opener, they're going to play games at Dick's Sporting Goods Park and then eventually move into the Centennial Stadium as construction wraps up. It's been delayed a little bit. In Orlando, Caitlin Carducci steps in as the new general manager of the Orlando Pride, charged with sustaining a team that's become one of the league's standard bearers. She's got to be efficient here, have that clarity, and continue to make Orlando a destination for top players. On the MLS side, in the domestic focus, Houston Dynamo, they added Brazilian winger Guilherme as a designated player from Santos in Brazil. $2.5 million deal is what's being reported. And Orlando City appears set to move on from Luis Muriel, finally going to send him to Atletico Junior. They've got the money to get this deal done, and that will open up a designated player spot for Orlando City. Bunch of moves, bunch of ambition, bunch of signals that 2026 is rolling already. Here on the SDH Network, Wednesday's SDH AM brings together voices from all across the game. We've got the director of football from Auckland FC, Terry McFlynn, joining to talk about leadership and culture in a modern club environment as the OFC Pro League gets ready to roll. Nate Miller, head coach of AC Boise, he checks in at 10:30 this morning, was supposed to be with us yesterday. It's busy starting a new team from scratch. He's going to discuss building that from the ground up. Dylan Butler of MLSsoccer.com, he'll join us as well to bring his perspective on those MLS moves. Also going to take a trip back down to South Georgia. Valdosta High head coach Cody Case, he joins to talk about the lessons from this past weekend's clinic in Valdosta and just how the game has grown across all levels in South Georgia. If you missed some earlier conversations this week, check out our features at soccerdownhere.net on South Island United striker David Yu and our longtime friend Steve Cook of Lexington SC. Both stories are live now. You can listen to the interviews from SDH AM as well at soccerdownhere.net. Refill some headlines from around the world. Pep Guardiola, not a happy camper at the moment. It was a lengthy VAR review, about 6 minutes or so. Ruled out Antoine Semenyo's goal in Manchester City's win over Newcastle, first leg of the EFL Cup semifinal. It did not seem to make sense, and the commentators kind of agreed with that. I didn't think that there was an issue on the Erling Haaland side of things in terms of interfering. I thought he was kind of locked up by the defender. I don't think he was interfering with the defender. I think the defender was grabbing him as much as anything. So we'll see if Howard Webb gets involved here and has anything to say about it. Pep also pointed to some previous controversial decisions that went against City at St. James's Park. 1-0 win for City in that one. Arsenal and Chelsea play today in their first leg of the EFL Cup semifinals. William Saliba is a doubt for Arsenal. Bunch of other defenders injured, sidelined. Mikel Arteta, he insists that the competition will be taken seriously despite all the injuries they're dealing with. Moises Caicedo is suspended on the Chelsea side of things. In Spain, Antoine Griezmann, he sent Atletico into the Copa del Rey quarterfinals. Beautiful free kick winner at Deportivo La Coruña. Even in a reduced role, he is still vital. There's also rumors swirling about his future, with Monterrey of Liga MX reportedly making a move. Down in Mexico, Chivas, they edged Juarez with a stoppage time winner. Pachuca, they claimed their first win of the season over León. And a crazy moment, Monterrey also won in their match, but the craziest moment in Liga MX was a sinkhole, I guess, kind of, opening up on the pitch during Mazatlan versus Puebla. Some serious questions about the field at Puebla, and Cruz Azul is also renting that field and will be playing there. I mean, sinkhole maybe feels a little bit too broad of a term here, but I don't know what else to call it. It looked like the player was getting eaten up by the field. It's a crazy moment. Luckily, no injury, anything to worry about there. On the international front, Eritrea is set to play its first competitive match in more than 6 years. They have entered the 2027 AFCON preliminaries. Major step for a nation long isolated from the world's game. In Scotland, the supporter who injured Jack McKenzie of Aberdeen by throwing part of a chair onto the field has been sentenced to 18 months in prison and banned from football for a decade. I don't think he intended to hit McKenzie, but he almost took his eye out, literally. He's scarred his face. That kind of punishment, you could even say, is maybe a little lenient. It was that serious of an incident, and hopefully is a deterrent to other dumb incidents happening. Finally, I wanted to lean into this just a little bit. Adidas, the nostalgia effect, they reissued some iconic national team kits from Mexico 1986, beautiful kits from when Mexico hosted the World Cup. Argentina 2006, leaning into Messi's first tournament, some Messi 19 jerseys in that. The Colombia 1990 stuff is amazing. I always think of Valderrama with that one, Faustino Asprilla as well, but just beautiful retro kits. Chile from the 90s as well. Really cool stuff. Adidas has just put that out. I might have to be looking at some of that Adidas stuff from Argentina for sure. Just saying. That'll do it for this edition of the Morning Espresso. AFCON semifinal day. I've loved this tournament. I do think it'll be Morocco and Egypt in the final, but it's going to be a fun ride to get there. Games at noon with Egypt and Senegal and 3 o'clock with Nigeria and Morocco. You can watch it on BN Sports. You can watch on Fanatis as well, fntz.co/soccer down here if you are not already a subscriber. We'll come back tomorrow, talk all about what happened in AFCON and all the other news from around the world in Thursday's edition of the Morning Espresso. Thanks for being part of the SDH Network.